How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Modern Day Artists. This time around, I sat down with Angelyse Mariah. I mean, this girl is an absolute outlier. She's a talent. She can dance, she can sing, she can act. She's got visions for something bigger than herself. Obviously, we know of her as being a pop star, a pop artist, but the things that are in her head for where she wants to take this, they're at the highest level. So I absolutely had to get her on the show and speak to her, and it was a pleasure, honestly. So how we met, we met through a friend. Shout out Jake Greenblack and Cinepedia, because he shot a music video for her. I pulled up on set, did a little BTS for him, and that's where I got the chance to meet Angelyse. We chopped it up, kept in touch, and here we are today. That's enough of an intro. Without any further ado, Angelyse Mariah.
So growing up, right? Who were some of your inspirations? Who were the kinds of people that you were listening to? A lot of your music is like, it's more like soulful in the sense, like 2000s vibes, I think you get a lot of inspiration from. So like, who were some of those artists?
I think, okay, so one of the first like artists that I really saw that I was like, I want to do that was definitely Beyonce. Somebody like Britney Spears, she was super poppy. I loved that. But then when I realized, like, okay, I don't want to just be an artist. Like, I really want to be a pop star. And I really got into Ariana Grande in, like, elementary, middle school. So I want to say she really influenced me a lot in that way. And then, you know, I'm also Latina. So there's always Spanish music playing in my house, like, you know, Marc Anthony. And I would be listening to Shakira or even, like, you know, salsa and bachata. And so I definitely have, like, tastes from everywhere.
So you have a background in dance. You were classically trained in, your first thing was ballet, I believe.
Yeah.
And I really like the fact that like you can bring that element of that artistry over here with the dance, and then recently you've done some more visuals. Obviously did the music video with Traviesa, and then Control was really awesome because I know that was super important to you. That song. How do you kind of blend them together? Like how would it, because you've been doing it for so long, right?
Yeah, I feel like it all kind of like builds on top of each other, honestly. So, you know, you start with ballet usually, and that's like the fundamentals of dance. You have to start with ballet if you want to do any other types of dances. So lyrical, modern, hip hop, you know,
with ballet.
You have to start with ballet.
That. I didn't know you had to start with ballet.
So sometimes, you know, I wasn't a big ballet fan. I would fall asleep at the bar, like during warm-ups. But it all builds on top of each other. I went to like performing arts high school. I was always into acting. I did it since I was little, and modeling too. And then, you know, senior year of high school is when I really started getting into music. And I think that's like, it all builds on top of each other. If I never had did dance at such a young age, I wouldn't be able to perform the way that I do now. Or like, if I didn't go to an acting school and go to all those auditions and like, you know, been in such high, like, I don't know, like really intense like environments, I guess, where I had to work at a young age.
You had to perform.
Right. Yeah. You know, it all helped me along the way because it just builds upon each other and, you know, prepares you for a lot of situations.
It wasn't your senior year, it was your freshman year going into college. COVID hit.
Well, it was, okay. I was like living in COVID kind of like when I went to college, because I went to college 2021, fall of 2021, and then, you know, the year before is when COVID hit. It was like the end of my junior year.
So when you were in high school, when did COVID hit? Was it like all of senior year was COVID?
Yeah, it was end of junior year, all of senior year. Yeah. Yeah,
because I was class of 21, but
me too. It's class of 21, right?
Okay, so during that time, I feel like everyone's brought this up, but like I kind of have to bring it up because you recorded your first song on voice notes.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone brings it up, but that was the first time that you like had sent it to a producer, or like were you always like around recording music?
No. It was honestly junior year. I got into a program at NYU for like the Clive Davis Institute, and it was about music business and like music production. And I got in, and I was going to Brooklyn every Saturday, like it was supposed to be like a 12 or 14 week program, something like that. And then boom, COVID hit. So like we started the program in January, and then March I was already, you know, I couldn't go anymore. So we did the rest of it online. We didn't even get up to the point where we could start recording music. So I had no idea what to do. Like I had never been into a studio yet. I had like maybe had one like in-person writing session with a group of girls they put me with. And then COVID hit. So I had to just figure it out by myself. Basically, like within the class that I had there, I gained a lot of contacts. And there was people that made music, they produced, they wrote, and I had all their Instagrams, and we were all just bored teenagers in our houses.
Okay, that's a good thing you bring up, because a lot of like the how you meet people nowadays is online. It's like like I keep saying this, Instagram's like the new business card. Like you gotta like
low-key.
That's how you like literally. It's like, let me see your Instagram. If you have like the art and stuff, you can connect.
Right.
On this show, I always talk about networking, the creative process, and music business. I like to tap into, but on just the purpose of networking, I'm sure like you've had to do that, or your parents have had to do that in order to like kind of just grow.
Yeah.
What could you like tell us? Anything you've learned on that topic?
On networking, like be outside. You need to be outside for networking. There's really no other way around it, if I'm being completely honest. I'm not a person that is like itching to go out every weekend, but you got to push yourself to go out. Drink a Red Bull, drink a Monster, whatever you need, because you have to go outside. There's like no other way around it. And just tap in. Like the way that I started going to networking events was I stalked people. So I went on music people's pages and then went through all of their followings, because most of the time they're also following people in their business. And I went through all of their followings. I started following people that like my mutuals followed, or like if they were in the New Jersey, New York area. And then if I was trying to find something to do, or like a new wave, like Instagram stories, like is your best friend. Like I just tap through that to see like what's happening. What's gonna, like, is there gonna be any events in the next week, next month? And then, yeah, like slowly by the people that you follow. And when you go to one event, and then the next and the next, like you'll see the same faces kind of, and you'll end up connecting. And that's how
you met Jake?
I met Jake. Yeah, I met Jake like by chance on a music video. Okay. But that's how I met Daniel Cruz.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yes, I freaking.
Yo, shout out Daniel for real.
Shout out Daniel.
He's such a goat.
He's outside all the time. Like I went to one event. I was for Digilog, and I met him there. And then I kept seeing him everywhere. Like I see Daniel everywhere.
So you moved to the city right after high school, and I recently been tapping into the city a lot more, and it's just so different from like the suburbs and stuff.
Right.
But like you just said, like you meet different people that are always outside. Was it like a challenge for you to just navigate that, or like what is it like growing up in the city as an artist?
I think what was tough about living in the city, like when I went to college there, it was tough because I didn't really, like, it was COVID time. The campus that I was on wasn't really a campus. It was really spread apart. So it was hard to find friends. And I didn't really make friends until the end of, like, my first semester, like, the end of my second semester, technically. Yeah. So it took me a whole year to find friends. And it's just tough. Like, you just need to really push yourself. It's, like, not easy. Like, you have to, like, push yourself out of your shell. Even though I think I'm an extrovert, I really don't have social anxiety like that. But like forcing yourself to go up to a group of people you do not know and just introduce like yourself to them.
When you say like you don't have social anxiety, were you always like that?
No. Or? I used to be a really shy kid. Yeah. Like growing up, when I was really little, I remember like I had videos of me like before the age of 5, I was like maybe 4 or 5 around that age, where I'll be hiding behind my mom. Like I didn't even want to be on camera, and it was just me and her. Like you end up just like breaking out of it. Being in entertainment, you just cannot have social anxiety. There's just no way around it. Unless like you want to be like a Sia type of person where you never show your face or something, and that's what your angle, but you can't do that. So I just did so many shows, and like honestly, it was probably going to so many auditions as a kid in person. That's true, yeah. That like really like broke that mold. And then I went to performing arts high school, and I was literally doing like performances every other day. Like my homework was to go home, read a play, memorize a script, and then perform it the next day in class. Like
yeah, you know. So it's just like you build up a tolerance to it over time.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So after you like, you've only been doing like just the music thing for like 2-3 years.
Yeah.
And like pretty quick growth. And I'm sure like the amount of attention people in this industry, there's some good people and there's some bad people.
Right.
What are the things that you kind of have to watch out for? Or you feel like, especially if you're just trying to make it, things that people don't think about or know about?
Well, you definitely have to watch out for scammers, because that is a real thing. There's people that prey upon, you know, young artists that really want to make it, and they know that, you know, that you want it bad. So they'll try to scam you for money. They'll try to like, you know, you've heard about all the stuff that's like came out with Diddy. Like that's very, very real. And I don't think people realize how real it is. You know, I'm not even a huge like scale artist at the moment yet, but we've run into scenarios where it's like kind of scary. And I'm so lucky that I never go places like by myself. You know, unless I'm comfortable. Like I'm always with, you know, either like my best friend Nevaeh, or I'm with my father, or I'm with my boyfriend. But I just like never really go anywhere by myself because people see that, and the music industry is really small. And if they see that like, oh, you know, XYZ never goes anywhere with like people, or they're always by themselves, or like when they're out, they do like to drink a little bit more or get a little loose, they'll take note of that, and it'll kind of like, they'll talk about it.
Yeah.
So like, you're kind of an easier target.
Yeah.
You know
said
what I'm saying?
The industry like is small. It's big, but like it's small in the sense that like everyone, like where it gets around.
Everybody knows each other. Like as big as you might think the industry is, it's not an entertainment. It really isn't. Everybody knows each other. The people that have power, like it's a small amount of people, you know, so you have to really be careful. Like if you had a bad experience with some person, keep that to yourself, because you don't know who the next person you were about to tell that to, like who they might know. They might be best friends and have worked with the person you had a bad experience with, and now boom, they don't want to work with you either. So you know, it's really small.
So you've recently turned 21, and you've been popping out to a lot of more shows and stuff like that. How did the last couple of shows go for you? And you know, like what's it like? You know, now you're 21, like you're able to, you've unlocked like so much.
I'm finally 21. It's like so funny because most people already assume that I've been 21 for like 2 years. So it was just funny because most of my shows I had to be 21 to enter, but I wasn't going to not take the opportunity of doing the show because I was under 21. So I had my fake ID. I do not condone getting a fake ID, but I had a fake ID. And it's been great. Like the past few shows, I really feel like, you know, like I played at SOB's was my last show that I had about like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. And it was my second time performing there. And I love that venue. It's just like such a cool, like historic venue to perform at. And I don't know, it's starting to get like really comfortable. Like I've been comfortable on stage, but like now it's really like I feel like I'm starting to become able to like play around with performances more. I
go to the city to shoot a lot of performances, and a lot of people do different ways of engaging the audience, because like some people like, well, you have the skill of being able to perform, which is invaluable, I'm sure. Is there like maybe something that you're working on in terms of performance that you're trying to like, you know, work on to improve? Have you thought about that? Yeah,
definitely. Probably like more crowd engagement, because at the moment, you know, I am performing at shows with like a huge lineup, so it's not just me, and I do have like an allotted time on stage. So sometimes it's hard to like communicate and talk with like the crowd because you only have like 15-20 minutes and you just want to like, you know, perform for them, because it's not really, doesn't leave you too much time to talk as much. So I do want to like really like work on more like engagement with the crowd and talking to them more, because sometimes I'm just like, oh my God, I have like 10 minutes and like, you know, I gotta.
You're like stressing about it.
So I'm not really thinking about it as much. And if I'm being completely honest, I go up on stage with like without knowing what I'm gonna say. Like I just like on the fly all the time I do that, and you probably could tell, so I'm like I need to rehearse a little bit more. But yeah, I never really know what I'm gonna say, and most of the time like I only have like a third of the choreography that I'm gonna do like known before I go on stage. Yeah, I kind of mostly like improv me dancing on stage.
Oh, that's sick, actually. I mean, you have like I said, you have the ability to do that, and like that's great. You were experimenting a lot with your like singles. You did like a Real House vibe. What is the vibe that you really want to push for going into this next year?
Okay.
If you can even say, you know.
If I can even like put it into one word, it's just like CUNTY. Okay? That's just the vibe. Because like just an attitude, I want it like girly. I don't have just one genre that I'm trying to push. I like so much music, and I feel like Angelyse can be so many different things. She could be like gay pop, she could be Latin pop, she could be like real pop, house. I could do, you know what I'm saying? I could do Afrobeat. I want to do so many different things
I
because
need to hear an Afrobeat. That'd be tough.
yeah, like I want to do Afrobeat. I want to do a dembow song so bad.
Wow.
I like so many different things. I want to do a Jersey Club song. It's just like me as a person, I feel like I've never been one to just like fit in a box. Like I'm super girly and pink, but like one day I'll be chilling in like the full baggy t-shirt fit, baggy pants and a pair of sneakers and I look real like masculine. So it just depends. Like
Okay, yeah. So then my question would be like, as someone who wants to be that dynamic and is naturally because of their sense of creativity, but then also there's the side of it as like I'm an artist, I have to package everything a certain way. How are you like balancing that, or like have you thought about that?
Yeah. So honestly, like it's funny because before I even started releasing music, I was learning about music business at NYU, and I remember them talking to us about that because I had always felt the same way of like, you know, I'm an artist and I like so many different things. I have so many aspects of my personality that I feel like I can't necessarily just be one thing in a box. Like, you know, I'm American, but I am Latina. You know, I grew up with both sounds and I'm influenced by so many different things. They had said that to me and they were like, you know, in the beginning, you need to, you know, package yourself a certain way or be within one box. And I honestly feel that like today in 2024, that is like a really outdated thing to think about or say because there's so much like music being uploaded every single day. There's so many artists today. You have to do something to diversify yourself in today's day and age because there's so many people doing it and there's so many people making music. So it's like, you know, this is the time that I feel like diversity and being like influenced by different things is really starting to come ahead in front of everything and people are starting to like that.
If you were to like do like an album, do you think it would all be one sound or do you think it would be like kind of scattered? Like, you know, like I have a feeling it'd be scattered.
Yeah, already, you know, I would probably have a lot of different sounds in an album, but my dream album, so I'm saying this right now, nobody take this from me. My dream album to like put out is like when the budget is budgeting, because this needs to be done right. I'm trying to make an album, you know, every single song is a completely different genre, right? But I want a music video to go along with it. But each song represents a different person and personality. Like, you know.
Different person in like what sense?
So, you know, I could start off the song, like the album, and like, for example, like, I don't know, it's a country song. You know, my name is like Jessica and I'm living out in Arkansas and I'm, you know, chilling with my pigs and my cows in the farm. And I'm singing my country song. And then the next song, it's doing like real electric, like gay pop. And it's like Sydney. She lives in New York City. She's 28. You know, she's like just going out with her friends to the gay bars. And it's going to be like a different personality, a different storyline. And each person's going to be different. It's going to be like a lemonade, like music videos for each one. And at the end, I wake up.
Lemonade?
Like Lemonade Beyonce.
Oh, word.
Like, because she did a movie for each. She did like basically a movie for the album. And at the end of the album, I wake up. I was in the hospital. I have multiple like personality disorder.
Yo, that's
because
crazy.
I love so many different types of genres. So it's like I've always wanted to do that. And to me, like when you do a song, I kind of like have a character, like a persona, personality. So each song feels like different to me. In a different vibe, different part of my personality. So I was like, why don't I just make a whole different person, like a character for each song?
Yeah, like when you say character, would it be like the subject matter, like kind of person story, or it's more like the vibe of the song would? I mean, I don't know how. You know what I mean?
The vibe of the song, I feel like, is what kind of like. I've always been I got trained in acting, doing method acting. Okay, and when I think of things like that, I kind of put it in a part of my brain where like, okay, I'm taking from these experiences to kind of put on the mic to do the song.
Yeah.
I get into like a character headspace. I think about like...
Oh, that's interesting, actually.
I think about Rihanna, like, Bitch Better Have My Money. Like, the way that her cadence on the song, the way she came in, like, she's playing a character, you know?
Yeah.
In the music video, like, she killed this man's wife because he didn't give her the money that he owed her, you know what I'm saying? She was just like, that's not really Rihanna. She didn't kill nobody.
Yeah,
but she's playing a character.
No, because you have a background in acting, so like I see like so many people that do like record with different like personas, but like when you say like I get into a character and then I like do it from the lens of that character, that's just interesting. Speaking about the creative process and when it comes to like Well, writing I wanted to touch on because I remember you used to say like I really wanted to improve on my writing.
Right.
You know, I had this thing with prompts. Was your mom that gave it to you, a book or something?
Yeah, I forgot who gave this book to me. I think it was my dad. Dad, did you give me that book? Writing. It was
like
a writing book.
that to improve your writing.
Yeah.
That's I mean, some people don't write at all, and some people really like it matters to them. And I just wanted to hear a bit more about writing for anybody that wants to learn about writing and stuff like that.
It's definitely practice makes perfect because I still don't like, there's always room for improvement. I feel like I can still like get better. And it's all about like it depends, finding what works for you. Some people like just writing by themselves. It's really, intimate to them. And some people love bouncing ideas off of other people in a room, in a session with people. So try different things, try different people, different energies, because making music is very much about the energy. It's very much about like the vibe of the room. If you're not meshing with the people that you're writing with or making music with, you're going to be uncomfortable and you're not going to be able to like really get down to, the nitty gritty and like as fully
it's like
creative.
The flow.
Yeah.
Like, there's like a stiffness, I guess, or like.
Right.
Yeah. So how would you say like your style is when you're in the studio? Like, how do you prefer? What are the vibes? What is it like to be in the studio, Angelyse?
It's super chill. Like, it's just like usually me and the producer, or sometimes I have like, one or two other people there. And, it's basically what we like to do is, what I like to do is I like to go through beats. If I have a beat that I'm already like ready to work on, we'll play that. And what I find is like the easiest is just like, we're just vibing, okay? Nothing has to be set in stone. Nobody's like over here like, we need to do this song right now and finish it all. Like, the easiest thing to do for me is to go into the booth and just do passes, which is like just do like gibberish melodies of like what sounds cool on the beat. And, I do it there. Then whoever else is writing the song with me, we all do it and we take turns. And we come out the booth. We kind of like comp everything. So we were like, that was a really dope melody there. I like that. Like, cut that. We'll go through all of our takes.
First off, or just like you just feel it out. And
feel it out, because it's too much. I feel like it's so much pressure doing the other way around. Some people can work like that, but the
other way around being like you write it out and have it all prepared.
Because I don't even know what most of the time. I have no clue what the song's gonna be about before I get in the studio.
It gets crafted
through there.
You do it in post.
Yeah, well, we do it there because it's like I could get there and I hear a beat, or like I'll get there and like the song that we thought we were gonna work on, we don't even work on. We're just feeling a different type of song. So it's like super fluid. I don't like working in really rigid spaces. Like creativity needs to be like flowy.
Yeah. How do you stay productive then when you're like always kind of mind's bouncing around? Like, when you're like, okay, I need to finish the song. Like, I need to get this done. Sometimes
that is very much the case because like the studio environment is very like chill and like calm. It's supposed to be like an environment that it's like you hanging with your friends. So sometimes you do get off track. Okay, you get sidetracked. You start talking about random stuff. Facts. You like don't even, you're watching TikToks or y'all talking about something else. But honestly, I want to say that it like all matters. Like that vibe of just like, sometimes I've walked into a session and I've straight just like talked to the person for 2 hours and did nothing before. And honestly, like, as not productive as that sounds, it's like curates the vibe. Like, it curates the vibe. You guys talked about something. Sometimes it could help.
Gives you a new perspective on like, it's like still productive,
Yeah, it's kind of like, honestly, it's like the lubricant to like working, like starting really doing this song. And if you don't know the person, like if I have never worked with somebody before, like I know that the first session that I have with them, I'm probably not going to get much work done because I'm just getting to know them. Like, music is very personal and it's so like, based on, I hate that word, but it really is based on the vibes. Like, you have to, connect with the person.
Who are some of the producers that you worked with on, I guess, just like the songs that you've released?
So I have, like, funny enough, the producer that I've been working with the most has been the producer for Traviesita and my next single, Puro Pereo. Her name is Isalia, and she's like a singer-songwriter herself. She's an artist, so she also releases music too. And I went to high school with her, but we never talked or like became friends until like
Yeah.
the past year.
Isn't that so funny? Like, I feel like there's so many people from my high school that I just didn't speak to.
Yeah.
Like, later down the line, now that where everyone's kind of formulating into what they're doing.
Right.
We connect because of some creative stuff.
Yeah.
Bro, I love that. That's why I love about
Yeah.
art. That's why I started this whole thing, bro. I just feel like it brings people together.
I know. I like that. It's just like, it feels so like natural because it doesn't feel forced. It was just one of those things where she was 2 years older than me, and like we just never, we never hung out. And she followed me on Instagram. She saw that I like was doing music, and she said, "Girl, like I got this song that I love, but it just does not fit my vibe as an artist. Like, I think it would sound great on your voice."
So she reached out to you?
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and she completely did Traviesita. Like it was a full song.
She did.
She produced it and wrote it. That was the first
wow.
song that I've ever taken that was fully like done like that. I've never taken all my songs that I've had before.
How was that? Like as the artist, like
Yeah.
this, like it's almost like they give you the prompt, they give you like what you're supposed to do, like an assignment in a way, but like not because of course you have to resonate with it,
right?
But, like
it was cool. I've never had a song that has been like given to me before. Every song that I've had before, I've written, and I've like did the whole like conception for everything. And Traviesita was pretty much like done. We did do like a lot of other like production stuff, and like we added a verse and did other things like once I hopped on. But it was really cool to like kind of have something and just Angelyseify it,
Okay, I like that. It's fun.
Yeah.
Both of your parents are helping you out with this whole with everything. And actually we have the father right here. And I kind of want to ask you a few things because I mean this is such an interesting situation when like everyone in the family is involved with it. What can you tell me, like what's it been like navigating like that, because your background's in real estate, right?
This is something that it's all because of Angelyse, right, and her dream. So I don't think that it's something that we haven't been like stage parents where we wanted to push her to do this. Angie, since she was a little girl, she was special in that she knew exactly what she wanted to do. She wanted to entertain. So, kids change their minds all the time, right? I still don't know what I want to do. Like, because she stayed consistent with it, and because, she went from dancing to acting, and then I remember, going to Angelyse, with Angelyse to New York, and we got her signed to a talent agency where she started doing commercials. My wife, Karen, she was the manager at that point. But then I think where I started taking over the music side of things is in COVID, when there wasn't as much work for movies and print ad and all those kinds of things. And she started writing, and she said she recorded the first song on her voice notes, and she put out music. I'm like, okay, and then she kept at it. So I saw her resilience, and that she wasn't gonna take no for an answer. She could have been like, oh, I quit because I'm not getting auditions. She's like, all right, it's time to write now. So the fact is that she was writing her own future, and the fact that she never took no for an answer, that's when I started investing my time and energy and money.
It was like you seeing like her commitment to it. Because I feel like a lot of people want to be artists, you know what I mean? And like even for like my family, it was like, being an artist is kind of risky. Like you got to make sure, like as like a parent, like did that conversation ever happen?
Oh yeah.
Absolutely, yeah, all the time. It still happens, right? I mean, I think it's just a matter of, her, like we talk about, 10,000 hours to become a master at something. And
Thanks.
Angie she's put in 10,000 hours as an entertainer, so you will, right? So now she's developing her music writing and performance, right? She's developing her persona, her sound, and I just want to know. I know that what I want to do for her is music could be a grimy business. I'm learning. I'm still learning, right? I've built businesses before, so we're using some of the same fundamental principles. But more than anything, I want to protect her from bad contracts that you hear about, and we have already, right? And I think that that's a mistake that a lot of artists do because, everything sounds all great and graven.
Yeah, they don't read the fine print.
Right.
So we've avoided some bad situations already. And I think that, that's the first thing I want to do is I want to make sure that we avoid bad situations, but I'm also smart enough to know that I don't know everything and I need to partner with people. And I may not be the one to take it to the next level, but I want to make sure she has a good foundation in place.
And from the perspective of the artist with the parents, what's it like having your parents like so involved with that? Because it's like it's your dream, your career, but then they're right there all the time because they help you.
Yeah, I mean, it is exactly what you might think it is. Honestly, like it is difficult sometimes because you don't have that buffer of just like a business relationship. I have to go home and like have dinner, with them. So it's like anything that a manager would probably have tell you, they would probably come out nicer. But because of the fact that they're
straight,
parents,
they're really blunt.
You
like,
know,
they're not. Their parents are not afraid to be blunt,
they're
and
blunt.
that's good.
Right? Yeah, they'll
good.
tell you straight up. They're your parents. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes tensions run high. Like I live with my parents still, and there's not. I see them every morning, every day. So things can, spill into both. And it is sometimes hard to work with your parents, but I'm super grateful because not a lot of people, especially like artists, have that, support from their family. And I'm so grateful that they actually really support me. They're helping me. They've helped me so much. They've helped me for years. My mom has spent so many hours of her life driving me back and forth to New York City, working or going to friggin' 5-minute auditions where we'd be stuck in the car for the next 3 hours back in the Lincoln Tunnel coming back to Jersey.
As an individual, not just putting yourself in the box of just music, where do you want to take everything? Making your own like stamp in the world and like the industry in general, like all things.
That's a really big question because I have really big ambitions. Like if I'm being completely honest and blunt, like I'm trying to take this to the furthest level we can possibly take this, like as mainstream as possible. I feel like it's 2024 and it's been well overdue for like a Latina, like Gen Z pop star. I think that there's so many people that have grown up with the same type of media that I have that, I'm like 1.5 second generation in this country. And I've grown up with Spanish music and English music, growing up, didn't know where I fit in any categories, especially living in my town. There wasn't as many Latinos. I think that a lot of people are gonna relate, they're gonna relate to being a Latino that has lived in America and has that American media, but has also the Hispanic Latino media too, and that resonate with both sides. And I don't really think there's not performance art like there used to be.
Yeah.
I feel like there's just...
I like that you say that.
There's not
there
performance
really
arts
isn't.
like
I feel
there used to be.
And even with like the music industry, like where it's going now and like, you got this AI stuff going around. Anybody can do it. Like, I guess the passion or like you say, like the... you really got to perform. That matters to you, obviously.
Yeah, I feel like, I don't know, these past few years with streaming and social media, the kind of worth and the value, I guess, of like celebrity or being an artist has, I think, been devalued a little bit. I feel like so many people are famous. There's so many famous people now. Like there wasn't like that back in the day when Michael Jackson and Britney Spears was out. It was like
true.
These like 10, 15 people are famous and like that's it. And they all were super, super talented. And there's still so many talented people today. But I kind of feel like sometimes they're just like giving it away. Like these labels are just like, whatever's popping on TikTok, like sign them. Like they don't even know what's going on. I feel like they're not tapped into Gen Z, and we're lacking in that market. I'm like, I have been like, where is that pop star that's gonna feed that, And where's the performance art? There's not like choreography like that anymore. There's not like this whole world how they're built around the artists, how there used to be. And I feel like it's sad, and that's a big market that I really want to tap into because I want to bring that back. And that's why I'm so inspired by Y2K, because that's when I feel like there was like these amazing pop stars. And I feel like one of the last girls to really do that was like Ariana Grande, the last really, really big pop star that like had that kind of world building around her and just her own brand, and she did everything that I felt a pop star needed to do. And I'm like, where is that now? And I just think now it just needs to be a Latina.
What sets you apart? What do you think is the thing that you have that other people don't?
What sets me apart is my diversity. I think I am very multifaceted. I want to do everything entertainment. So I'm not just talking about I want to just make music and release music and do shows. No, like I've been classically trained for acting like way before music. I also want to do movies. I also would want to do, TV shows, or like my goal is I want to be on Broadway. Like I would love to be on Broadway and do that crossover. That is a goal of mine. I would love to be in like Chicago or like in Kinky Boots. Like I love that. And I feel, that is something that definitely sets me apart. My resilience, the fact that I'm from New Jersey, I feel like that East Coast, mentality.
It's that grit.
It's that grit. It's for real. You know, not that many people can like really, their opinion really doesn't matter to me as much anymore. Like doing this for so long, I've been put in so many situations where people have talked so much shit about me in school because of this, or like adults in the industry like being mean to me like in auditions, or like, you know, I've been put in so many situations that it's like at this point it's like nobody can tell me no. Like the only reason why you would ever see me stop doing this is like if I actually died, or like I died. There's like no other, that's it. Like this, I will never stop, I feel like, because it's just like nobody can tell me no anymore. I've had so many no's in my life that it's like, whatever, just another one. Like, okay.
That you built up like a tolerance to that shit.
Yeah, like, you know how many auditions I've have not gotten compared to the ones that I have? So it's like, whatever.
That's perfect.
That's your
mentality.
opinion.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's perfect mentality. One thing I really appreciate is that you don't box yourself in as just like a musical artist, but you have all these other things. I feel like so many people, when they say like I want to be an artist, they like focus solely on like the music.
Yeah.
And like you can do so much. Like, we're seeing the music stuff now, but like who knows what we're gonna see later down the line.
Yeah, I've always had the mentality of like whatever gets me there first. So at the time when COVID hit, nothing was shooting. I was not getting any auditions. I was not working. And I was like, all right, cool. I guess it's time for me to do music. I've always wanted to do it. So that's just how that started. And, you know, I'm still auditioning to this day. I'm still working with my agency to this day. Catch me at a Five Below ad in September for back to school. You'll probably see me in Five Below. That was the last job that I got.
Fire. That's fire.
But I still do that, and it's just whatever gets me there first. Like I could be putting out all this music, and like who knows, like what if I like book a Netflix show or like a Netflix movie or something, and then that's how people find out about my music, or like vice versa.
That's
like,
true.
I make music, and then somehow something comes along my way, and now I'm shooting for this. You know, I don't want to box myself in. I love all of that. Like I just love entertaining and performing.
Yeah. Okay.
And honestly, like my goal is once I'm done with music, because I'm planning on music to be like my main thing for the next like 10, 15 years. And, you know, once that settles, because usually like the lifespan of a pop star is 10 years.
Yeah.
Like straight. And then you do like other stuff after. I really want to have a production company in the future.
Okay.
To produce like movies and television, because I love cinematography and videography so much.
You'd be on like the creative director side.
Oh yeah, I
Vibe.
feel like I'm a great creative director. Like I have directed like so many things, like for like school projects or like even auditions for other people. Like I know what looks good on camera. I've edited music videos before. Like I have that eye for that. So and I love it. I love being on set, and I love the dynamic of being on set. So I would definitely want to start a production company like later on.
Gotcha. No, that's sweet. I don't know. I just like to learn about like, because you see people online, you see what they're doing and what they're pushing, but then there's like who's like the person behind that. I mean, I feel like that's like what I'm trying to dig into. Was there ever a time where you were like, yo, like this is a lot of pressure, or someone you just had a bad conversation, like you don't know if you want to do it, but like was there ever a moment like that for you?
I'm trying to think if there was ever really a moment in my life where I'm like, I don't want to do this. Because I don't think I have had a moment in my life where I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. But there has been a lot of like moments where I like have cried over like something like casting directors have said to me, or like I've cried about like even stuff with teachers. Like people were not kind about like how outward I was about what I was doing or what I liked to do, up until the point where it wasn't like I want to stop, but it was like I'm going to keep it all to myself. I'm not going to tell people what I'm doing, because I don't know if it was like, I think it was just like jealousy growing up, or like I don't know if people wanted to do it too, what it was, but people were not nice about it growing up. So I kept a lot of it. Like there was like a year or two where I was like, all right, cool, I'm just not going to say anything about anything I'm doing. And you know, sometimes I'd miss school because I had to shoot for something, and then I would come to school the next day and like, oh, why weren't you here? And I'd be like, oh, I was sick, and I just wouldn't tell people anymore. And I remember going to high school, and I did that up until like when I was there. Because I thought it was going to be better. I thought it was going to be, you're going to performing arts high school now. Everyone's likes the same things that you do, so it's gonna be easier. Like, you could talk about these things. And I was wrong, because everybody's doing the same thing as me, and they want to like be working too. So I stopped telling people because I had no friends. Like, people were not talking to me at this time. My principal like came up to me. I forgot what year this was, but she was like, Angelyse, can I talk to you? And I'm like, what? She's like, why am I watching TV? And then I thought I saw you in a commercial. I was like, no way. And then she waited a couple minutes, and then she saw me in a different one. She's like, do you do this? Like, da 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 da. And I was like, yeah. Like, was it JCPenney? And was it for like a phone company? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, yeah, like I do commercials and stuff like that. And she was just like, why don't you tell anybody? Like, why didn't you tell us? You know, like, we celebrate that here at, you know, because it's a performing arts high school. And I was just like, I don't know, like, it's just like, people usually don't like to hear about those things.
Do you feel like that prevented you from like being like open about it, I guess?
I just wanted to have friends and like not feel like, what's the word? Like, I don't know. I think people thought of it, like the fact that I did it and did it often, maybe like threatening. And I went to like a predominantly all girls school, and usually girls are like weird about that
status
stuff.
Shit.
Yeah, like they're like weird about that stuff, or like because I did acting and modeling, they would just be like the first,
some haters.
Well, the first immediate thing that people would say would be like, oh, she's full of herself, or like she just thinks she's all that, or like she's whatever. And it's like,
it's some hater shit. It's
like,
just
girl, I've never talked to you before. Like, I've never, you know, or people would just always be like, oh, before I talked to you, I thought you were gonna be a bitch. And it was like, why? And like, people told me like my Instagram, and it was like, babe, like I have to keep it professional and clean, because I have to give casting people my Instagram, like they look at your social media. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I would keep it all on social media, and I would not talk about it in school, because it was very much like,
for someone that doesn't know you, like how would you describe like who you really are versus who like they might think you are? So
there's like two things. Like, I feel like Angelyse is like somebody that I've been like distinctively like making two, like, I don't know, there's distinct differences in the both, because when you're like in this industry and you're performing a lot, like you need
your character.
You need something to tap into. Okay. Like, you need a persona. You usually see like, I don't know, like each person has like their thing. Like Michael Jackson had the glove, and Ariana Grande had the hair. Ice Spice has the hair. It's like something that's, you know, that's like, okay, I'm Ice Spice.
It's the mask. I got you.
Something like that, because you need to differentiate. Man, like Angie feels sick. She's tired. This is her second show like in 2 days. Like, she doesn't want to do this show. Angelyse needs to do the show. Okay?
That's so interesting.
So like, Angelyse is not sick. She's not tired. She's going to put on a show. Angie just doesn't want to do it. And you just got to leave that out the door and make a distinct difference. So,
who are the people that you vent to about that? Because I'm sure, like you said, like you don't have a lot of friends. You have very few people that know all of that.
I do keep a close circle, and I feel like I like it like that.
Yeah.
I used to think like when I was younger that you needed all these friends, and I realized that that's not very much the case. Like, just have like a couple good, really close friends, and you'll be good. You know, it's very much just like me, one friend that I have from like middle school, and then like 2 friends from college that are like my close 3 friends, my circle, and then plus my boyfriend and my parents. Like, those are my like immediate circle.
Keep it tight.
Yeah, just keep it tight. Like, it doesn't need to be like super big. I feel like I'm always having to like perform and like just be performative and entertaining and like all the time. So when I'm off, I'm off. Like, I'm super chill. Like, most of the time, like if I'm not at an event or I'm not doing something for like Angelyse to further the brand, Angie is chilling at home with some baggy shirts and sweatpants, like straight chilling, eating like Kraft mac and cheese and chicken nuggets. Like, that's very much what I'm doing.
That's fine. Yeah, no, I just think that like the whole like having to brand yourself and like put that stuff, like I'm sure it can be taxing. I feel like people don't get to like hear about that. Yeah. They just see Angelyse. They don't see the Angie. And like, just to kind of round things off, like what are there any like pieces of advice or anything you kind of learned recently that you feel like someone who's trying to make it could learn from?
Yeah, I think definitely being a young artist is hard when, you know, you're trying to work with people that are more established, because, you know, of course it's always great to like work with new people that are older, more established, to learn from them, because you don't, coming into the industry, you don't know as much. Something though that you do need to remember is that a lot of these people that are in positions of power and are, the heads of labels and stuff like that, they are older. They are in a different generation. And that's nothing like, against them. But if you're doing something as a Gen Z artist, like a lot of the times it's like they don't get it or they don't understand it. And they'll try to steer you in a different direction maybe because they just don't really understand it too much. But like, I think it's very much worth like fighting for your like what you want creatively. If you believe that like, no, this is like the wave, this is what's going to be, like, you're the one that is going to be the future. It's not them. Like, they're the present, they had the past. You are the current future and like what's going to be popping. You always like say, that's why there's so many like artists like Drake that are really tapped in. He keeps a lot of young artists around him and he knows what's good because of that. But the second that they let go of that, it's not as tangible. And sometimes that happens with these label people or just people that are older in the industry. But you got to fight for your creative, your, like what you want creatively and who you're trying to brand yourself as, because sometimes they're not going to get it. And if I kind of like really listened to what I wanted to do like a year ago, I feel like I would have found like the Angelyse sound a little earlier. But I was listening to people that, were really experienced and kind of didn't understand too much what I wanted to do. So find the people that understand what you're trying to do. If you're trying to make Latin pop, go to Latinos that make, that music. If you're trying to make gay pop, go to the, the LGBTQ artists and writers that do that. Because if I'm trying to make gay pop and I go to like a straight man to produce it, like he's really gonna miss the mark. And I've realized that and I've discovered that now. So
Who do you think won the beef between Drake and Kendrick?
It's crazy because I love both, right? Drake like has so many number ones and Kendrick. Like there's just like Kendrick ate him up. And I will always say like Damn was one of like my favorite albums, like kind of revolutionized like the way I thought about like writing and storytelling and doing albums, because I've just never heard an album where it was like a whole storyline and then you listen to it back to front and it was a different story. Like it was just crazy. Kendrick ate him up. His lyrics like unmatched. Drake, I don't even know what he's gonna do to come back from this, but Kendrick won the beef.
Thank you so much for coming on. Where can the people find you and what can they look forward to?
You guys can find me on all social media platforms at Angelyse Mariah. So that's Angel, Y-S-E, Mariah, spelled M-A-R-I-A-H. Y'all can really look forward to a lot of new music for the summertime. I have my next single, Puro Perreo, coming out very soon. And you guys can expect a lot of Latin summer vibes, just like, honestly, just Angelyse summer vibes. We'll call it that. And stay tuned.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Please share and please follow our guest on social media. Thanks for watching, guys.